Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're about to plunge into a story that, well, it truly gripped me as I looked through the sources you shared. The Abandoned Baby. This isn't just drama. It's a really poignant look at family, desperation, sacrifice, identity, too, all set against post-Soviet Russia.
Right, a very tumultuous time.
And what makes it so compelling, I think, is that it's explicitly based on real events that gives it this, real weight, authenticity.
Absolutely. It hits differently when you know there's truth behind it.
So the core idea, the logline, is this. When her boyfriend is drafted into a distant war and poverty closes in, a young mother is forced to make the agonizing decision to abandon her infant son, setting her on a path of survival, guilt, and the faint hope of redemption.
And that phrase, faint hope of redemption, that's actually crucial, isn't it?
Oh, so?
Well, it immediately signals that this isn't just going to be unrelenting tragedy. It suggests resilience, maybe, a glimmer of something positive.
Right, kind of lifts, it gives you something to hold on to as a listener.
Exactly. It hints at human will, even in the bleakest settings. It keeps you engaged.
Okay, let's unpack this then. Diving deeper into the sources, we have Tatyana Podkoritov facing this impossible choice, abandoning her newborn, Andrei Jr.
And it's driven entirely by the circumstances. Dire socioeconomic conditions.
Yeah, post-Soviet Russia.
Right.
We're talking food shortages, the economy basically collapsing.
And on top of that, her partner, Andrei, he's conscripted, forced into this brutal war.
It's just an absolutely devastating situation for her.
It is, but here's where it gets really interesting in the narrative.
Okay.
The story immediately reframes her act. It's not indifference, not at all. It's portrayed as a desperate act of selfless love.
Selfless love.
Yeah. A heart-wrenching sacrifice for her son's potential future. She actually says it, something like, I can't give you the life you deserve. I have nothing.
Nothing to give you, can't feed you, or even myself.
Exactly. No way to keep you safe and raise you right. It's brutal honesty.
And this perspective, it's reinforced, right, by others in the story.
Yes, profoundly. The hospital nurses, they saw this happening constantly. One source mentions a line like, that's number 6 tonight.
6 babies abandoned in one night.
And another observation, just heartbreaking. No one comes here without crying first. Even Anya, the orphanage head, she understood. She saw it wasn't apathy, it was love.
That completely changes how you think about abandonment. It challenges those quick negative judgments.
It really does. It asks you, the listener, to look deeper.
So Tatyana makes this agonizing choice. How does that decision echo through the generations? Because it clearly does.
Oh, absolutely. That's central. Honor Jr., the baby, he grows up Americanized, adopted, completely unaware of his Russian background.
Until
in this, twist of fate, he's deployed as a U.S. soldier back to Irkutsk, his birthplace.
No way. Back to where it all started.
Exactly. And this throws up huge questions, right? Identity, generational trauma, the echoes of the past.
There's that line from the deployment officer to Andrei Jr., something like...
Yeah, it's powerful. You'll soon figure out who you are out there, and maybe what you're actually fighting for.
Wow. It directly points to this fated connection.
Yeah.
The cyclical nature of conflict, too.
Precisely. The past isn't buried, It finds ways to resurface.
Speaking of connections, I saw a really interesting creative idea in the project notes. This wooden bird.
Ah, yes. The wooden bird. That could be such a powerful element.
Explain that. What's the idea?
So it's like a potential ghost prop, a small hand-carved toy. Maybe Andrei, the father, gives it to Tatyana for the baby just before he leaves for the war.
Okay.
Then Tatyana, in her grief, leaves this bird with the baby when she abandons him. It becomes the only tangible link.
Like a Chekhov's gun, you mean? Introduced early, pays off later.
Exactly that. It could reappear somehow in Andrei Jr.'s American life. Maybe he kept it, doesn't know why. It's the subconscious tie to his origin.
And then in Irkutsk, maybe he sees another carving like it.
Yeah.
Or someone recognizes the style.
Right. Leading to this incredibly powerful, cathartic moment of discovery or reunion based purely on this small object.
That adds a whole other layer. Okay, so bringing all these threads together, what's the big takeaway here? What does this deep dive into the abandoned baby really show us?
Well, I think it reveals these deeply interconnected themes. War, poverty, sure, but also sacrifice on a profound level. Hope, forgiveness, the whole struggle for identity. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, these struggles, they aren't just historical artifacts, are they?
No, sadly not.
War, economic hardship, families being torn apart. Look at contemporary global crises, refugee situations, economic downturns. The core human struggles are universal.
Which makes a story like this feel incredibly relevant, timely even. It resonates today.
It really does. It speaks to those universal experiences in a very personal way.
The narrative also highlights this recurring pattern, doesn't it? Military service, promises across generations. So here's a final thought for you listening. What stands out to you when you think about this idea? That the past, no matter how deeply you try to bury it, can always find a way back. Always demand some kind of reckoning in our own lives. Something to think about